You ever had a friend that low key did not like you? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the signs that she may not really be your friend and she may be jealous of you. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Jazz, and I'm back with another episode. It's been a while. One thing that I learned is when you put yourself out here on the internet or any public platform, you have to be okay with what comes with it. And for me, I just needed to make sure that I was in a place mentally, emotionally, just everything in line for me to be able to do something like putting my opinion out on the internet, knowing that I'm going to get a lot of feedback. So I had to take a step back and make sure that, it is something that I wanted to do. And it is, because every time that I talk to people who come back and tell me how I affected them in one way or another, it is all worth the negative comments or feedback that may come with it. But anyway, let's get into our topic. So, a few weeks ago, a young lady came online and stated that, she was happy a certain friendship ended because she was jealous of that friend and she knew that it basically could not go on any longer. She goes on to explain how the girl basically was getting the life that she wanted. She had the house, she had the job, she had the car. And the more that she would win and succeed, the more jealous that she got. On the internet, it was a ton of mixed reviews. We had the people coming out saying, hey, jealousy is a normal behavior and you guys can't act like it's not. And if you are, you're not real. And then you have the others that's like, hey, I'm not jealous of my friend, never have been. And this is not okay. This is not normal behavior. So where do I stand in all? Being someone who has been on the side of someone who was jealous of me that I felt was my friend. I do agree. Jealousy is a normal behavior. However, I personally have never been jealous of my friends, and the friends that have been jealous of me caught me by surprise. Because when I form friendships, I'm thinking we are genuinely wanting the best for each other, and we care about one another, and we want to grow and help each other do so if possible. And that was kind of how some of the jealous things came up in my friendships. It became a one-sided thing where I heard, you need something, or if I'm good at a certain thing and I know that you need help in that other area, I'm going to volunteer to help you because I don't mind seeing you succeed, because I have my own goals and things for myself. So you succeeding is not going to stop anything for me. And that's just always how I felt about it. Not to mention, growing up, I was building my own self-esteem. I didn't come from the household where it was built up, like where I felt super confident about myself in my younger years. So I was figuring out my own life and self-esteem and building myself so much that I couldn't even take the time to then stare at the next person and be jealous of her and what she has, because I needed to make sure that I was focused on me and becoming the best version of myself. And so when I would hear certain people tell me with this specific friend, I'm telling you, anyone I brought this person around that knew me, I didn't even have to give them any background on this person. But by the end, and if she would leave or I would talk to them on another occasion, they would always say, that girl is jealous of you. And even with that situation, I would be like, I don't think so. Like, she has a lot going on for herself. She, things are going well for her. Like, I don't really understand what she would be jealous of me for. Okay. And I do want to tell any of the young ladies that may come across this video, please be sure to work on your self-esteem and self-worth because if you don't, this is how some of this jealousy can go over your head because you don't even value yourself enough to really recognize that they're being jealous of you. You're like, what? For what? I'm still trying to achieve my goals. I'm still hustling. I'm still losing weight. I'm still, developing the body that I want. But that doesn't matter because you're in a still phase. They see you from their eyes and you reflect to them whatever goals they may want to achieve and don't have the ability to do it or don't have the drive to do it. You reflect to them the hard work and dedication that they wish they could put into things, but they can't. Or you may be good at one thing. You may put together an outfit really well and they just don't have that in them, and it can make them jealous of you. It doesn't have to mean that your life has to be all put together in order for that friend to develop some form of jealousy. So anyway, we're done with that intro. Let's jump right into the 5 things that I will say to pay attention to when your friend, if your friend displays it, and it may mean that friend is very well jealous of you. Now, I know that I've had some hiccups in speaking, but I feel like I want all of my podcasts to be kind of just real. So yeah, if I slip up or if I tongue twist, is what it is because I'm coming straight from the heart and I'm not trying to be perfect on this podcast. But anyway, number 1, they copy you or rush to steal your ideas. That was one thing that stood out in that friendship for me. She would copy a lot of things that I would do, from the way that I dress to certain things that I would say. And I never really paid too much attention to it because when you build friendships young in life, and this is what people don't talk about, the growing pains, if you're building friendships from like middle school into your adulthood, certain things that are acceptable during middle school and high school may not be acceptable as a grown adult. And that comes with the whole copying thing. We usually grow out of wanting to dress alike. We want to grow out of, stealing one another's ideas and have our own identity as an adult. And that was not happening. I'm talking copying the smallest things, even details or decor in my home, right? So it got real. And then it will be times where I may not have had the money or the time to do something, but I would mention an idea to this person and they never had any, plans on doing it or anything like that because they were a very vocal person. They put all their business out there. So they never mentioned anything about this certain project or business adventure or anything. And when I would mention it and be like, hey, once I get the money to do this, this is what I plan to do. Or once I get the time to do this, this is what I plan to do. And that person would rush and do it. And not in a way of like, hey, girl, we can do it together once you get the money or the time, but in a way where they'll just do it and come back and talk about it as to say, I already did it type thing. It was just really, really petty behavior. And guys, that's how you can miss it as well. Sometimes we blow it off like, yeah, no one's that petty. Like, you're thinking too much into it, girl, you're crazy. But that's sometimes how you miss those signs of a jealous friend. All right. Number 2, crossing boundaries or one-sided friendship was another thing. So this particular friend, I would say, hey, just give me a call before you come to my home. I would just like a heads up. I would notice that she would just pop up sometimes. And for me, I think it was just to catch me off guard, catch my home off guard, or just be super nosy in my business, to try to figure out who's over my house or what I'm doing. She would just not respect boundaries. Certain things that she said to other people that I've said, hey, That's not cool. You sharing this information to people. Still would do it. So crossing boundaries and then one-sided friendships. I would never forget that she would tell me all about her relationship and want me to listen to her relationship problems for hours. And at the time I was just dating, and getting to know people. And I would tell her about what was going on with my dating situations. And she would be silent. Can have everything to say every time, I'm talking about anything else. But when it came to that, she would be dead silent. So instead of me holding resentment for that, I came to her directly and I said, hey, every time I come to you about what's going on in my dating life, you don't give any feedback. You are not, engaged in a conversation, but you come to me about your relationship woes, which is fine. We're women. When you're with somebody and you're emotional, you're going to want to talk about that person. But I would like for you to do the same in this friendship. And instead of her saying, you know what, you're right. You're right. I apologize. I will be better. She looks at me and says, well, I won't talk about my relationship anymore. First of all, that would not happen. We all know that is not going to happen. Because you live with this person, even if you don't live with this person, you're in an intimate relationship with them. You're going to want to talk to your friends about them. And that is totally fine with me. But instead of her taking accountability and saying, you know what, you're right. Let me be there for you. She told me, fine, I just won't talk about mine. And that was such a big thing for me. That stood out so much. Well, of course it did, because I'm talking about it years later and it's a memory for me. So of course it stood out. But that was one indicator of a one-sided friendship. Like, she didn't care what I had going on, but I should have cared enough to listen, encourage, and motivate her in her situation. So be aware of those one-sided friendships, even down to the point where they're inviting you places, but then when you say, hey, maybe we should go to this place, and they say, I don't really like that. No, I don't like every single time. But then once they invite you to the place that they want to go, that could be a one-sided friendship. You don't know how they view you. You might be their wing person. You might be the person that they need just to have somebody with them when they go out and they don't feel alone. A lot of women may be the quote unquote ugly friend to that person, and you don't even know that you're the ugly friend. It's not me. No, I'm just kidding. But that wasn't my situation. But I'm just giving examples that you may not even know that you are the ugly friend to them in their eyes, where they think, okay, well, I can just bring you with me everywhere because I know it's not going to stop my shine. I have someone with me. And then if we're coming across males, I'm the better option. So I would get more attention in this friend group. And y'all think it's petty, but it's real. Like, I've seen it. I've seen a person hang with certain women who they have nothing in common with. They have everything to say about them, how they look, how they weight is, all of that. But they're with them consistently because it makes them feel better. It's not about a mutual friendship. It's just about being around somebody that you can feel better than. All right. Number 3, pay attention to those little looks, those side glances. When you answer certain questions, when you get dressed in a certain way, when y'all go out to places and you're around other people, pay attention, because I'm telling you, those little looks be holding some power. And they'll always act as if, oh, no, I'm just like staring off into space kind of thing. But it's more than that, because you have to pay attention to when those looks happen. It could be you saying something good about yourself. That's when I noticed it one time. We were going somewhere like a little bit far away, and we all talking in the car, and I just mentioned a little bit about my background, about me and my sister, things like that. I'm hyping myself up in a sense, and I caught this so-called friend looking at me with like the craziest look. And when I said something about it, she was like, oh, girl, no. Like playing it off. But I would catch those little looks from time to time. And sometimes those looks hold more than you would think. That could be that envy. That could be that jealousy in those eyes, in those looks. So pay attention to those. Number 4. How they behave around others, right? So let's say they invite you to somewhere where you don't know the people, but they know the people, and they act completely different than they act around you on a one-on-one basis, or even around y'all, around people that y'all know mutually, so they wait to get you kind of on their ground to start acting weird or awkward, or even putting you in the center of attention and making you the butt of the jokes. Then that is a clear indication that they may be a little bit jealous of you. Because with my friends, I want to make sure they feel comfortable. No way that I'm bringing my friend in any circle and she's going to be made fun of. She's going to be the joke. She's going to be, no, not on my fucking watch. But when you have people that have low-key jealous feelings about you, they live for the moment that you are not so perfect. Because sometimes in their head, you're perfect to them. That's where the jealousy comes from. You heard the one in the video that says she has the car that I want, the job that I want, the this that I want. She don't know all the things that girl could be battling with internally. Or if the person is even fully happy. All that she can see from her side is she has all of this, which is amazing things, and I'm jealous of it, right? So watch how they behave around others is another one. And the last one I would say is they are not happy for you or your accomplishments. Like, so if you tell them about something and they are silent, they move past it without acknowledging it. They miss special events like graduation, promotion dinner, anything, new business opening, all of that. They know it's important to you. They don't have a valid reason to not have been there. And they just are not there. And I had this happen with my graduation with a family member. And I'm not going to say which family member because they know who they are. But a very close family member. And when I was graduating with my bachelor's, they did not show up. They did not have a reason not to show up. And this was my graduation. This wasn't, and mind you, I went to this person's graduation for a program that was a little short program, right? But I was always that person that was going to be supportive of people that's around me that I care for. And it is those moments like that that will actually allow you to see how they feel about you. Those big moments where they have to stand back and allow you to be in the limelight or the light period. And that's another thing with jealous people. They always kind of want to be the center of attention. And when it's not about them, it's a problem. Why do you think that they say, when men or women get older and they start to be jealous of younger people? Right. And let's say it's a really good looking man, a really good looking woman who's aging and they don't know how to feel about that. You know, things are not the way they used to be. They may not go out in public and get, the door open for them any longer or compliments as they once used to receive. And they are seeing it dwindling down while they're seeing younger people getting all of the things that they used to have. And that brings them into the jealous realm. Now they're mad. Oh, my youth is gone. They're now in their youth. Maybe they didn't get to do a lot of things in their youth that they wish they would have done. So that leads to the jealous behavior as well. But it's so many layers to this jealous conversation. Me personally, I do not want a jealous friend. I don't. It's nothing that I can gain from that friendship because I'm not petty. So I don't get a kick out of being petty and trying to one-up each other. I share intimate details about myself with my close friends. And I'm not trying to go out here and share details with somebody who's waiting to write or tell a tell-all book about my business, you know. And that's why when I see women get into it after they have been friends for a while, they get into it and then they start to post pictures of the girl's underwear or her house, tell her personal business. This could be friendships of 10, 15 years. And when it comes crumbling down, everything comes out. There's no respect. There's no, hey, I love that person. We just are not aligned. Let's go our separate ways. No, it's let me spread your business. And now with social media, it's not even let me spread your business in these circles that can now turn around and talk and tell all of your business. This is let me blast you on the internet to perfect strangers that can now know your life just because we're no longer friends. All right. So for me personally, seeing that video of that young lady, I'm so happy her friend and her is no longer friends. I'm so happy that relationship ended because we all have 24 hours in a day. And that's how I see it. I get motivated by people that are doing things that I want to do. I want to be really fit. I have these times where I get really fit, I get really on it, and I fall off. It was one of the reasons I created my business around fitness because I didn't want to fall off. And sadly enough, I entered a relationship that had all my attention and I still fell off even with that business. So now I'm rebuilding and I'm like telling myself this year, I want to be in the best shape of my life and I want to maintain it into my elder years, right? I have people around me that are fit, that are close acquaintances. I'm not jealous of them. I'm motivated. I could text this person about fitness and they are happy to talk about it because that's what they're into. I can look at this person and say, wow, she has this many kids and she's able to maintain a workout schedule and healthy eating and all that. I can do it too. I only have one. That's almost an adult. Like, it's like I see the motivation behind it. If that person can do it, I surely could. I surely could too. Not I want to one up this person or they shouldn't have this. I'm jealous that they have it because I know they put in work. And even if it's a case where they didn't put in work, let's say they find a rich husband or something like that, or they inherited that money from their family. At the same time, that for me, it would be like, that's not my situation. So I have to grind. I have to get mine in order for me to have it, but it's still possible for me to do. There's nothing that anyone has that I couldn't really bust my butt to get. There's not anything in life that you really can't have if you don't, if you put your work in. And that's how I think about it. So me being jealous, it just doesn't come naturally because it's like, hey, what can I do to grow? What people can I sit down with? What circles can I be a part of in order for me to get to this place? All right. But that's all I have. Let me know your opinions about this situation. Is jealousy a normal emotion? And was this girl totally normal in how she felt about her friend? Or is this something that the friend should probably talk to a therapist about? And jealousy is not normal in friendships. Just let me know your opinions. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know about any other topics you may want me to speak about. But until next time, peace.